Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to Gurukul Online Learning Network. Today's subject is Business Organization and Management, Chapter 5, Joint Stock Company. So, today we're going to learn about advantages of the company organization. Advantages of company organization. So, a joint stock company or any kind of company, every kind of business we're doing, it has certain advantages and certain disadvantages. So, let's take a look at the advantages of the joint stock company. So, number one, accumulation of huge financial resources. The company form the business facilities mobilization of large amounts of capital from investment in industries. Accumulation of huge financial resources. First of all, how the entire capital or the huge financial investment comes into a company, or the company that sells shares. Any company that sells its shares outside its general main capital can accumulate a huge financial investment throughout selling shares. If a company is selling shares, it is bound, or it is very common, it's very possible to have extra kinds of investment by selling shares. If they're selling 100,000 or 500,000 shares of Taka, 1,50,000, 10,000, whatever the amount may be. That's how they are gaining financial investments more by the general people. So, the company that facilitates mobilization of large amounts of capital for investment in industries. When they get this kinds of amounts of capital, they invest in various kinds of industries, and the industries produce the raw materials into usable goods for the products of the consumers or the customers. That's how they can gain more and more profit through the more capital investments. Then second, economies of large scale production. The company form of business can enjoy all benefits of large scale production, such as minimum cost of production and maximum profit. So, let's take a peek back at the sole proprietorship business. A sole proprietorship business, in here there is not so much industrialization. What is industrialization? Industrialization is when you take some raw materials, convert it into some usable goods for the consumer. That is called industrialization. Taking raw materials, converting them into usable goods. So, sole proprietorship business doesn't have that kinds of things. Sole proprietorship business is mainly of selling goods like a grocer shop or a automobile shop or a tea stall, something that only one person can execute, one person can handle. Partnership businesses forms more than two. That means multiple number of people, multiple number of owners can do the business jointly. Sometimes they have that industrialization, but not in a huge or a maximum or a very large scale. It is in a very small scale that they have to do by hand, which is mainly known as handcraft. They're taking raw materials and change it or convert it into usable goods. So, in case of companies have huge invest or massive amounts of capital invested into the industries. The company form of business, it's mentioned company form of business, or the sole or a proprietorship. The company form of business can enjoy all benefits of large scale production. It's very basic for a company to produce a large scale production, not a unit of only 2,000, 5,000 or 1,000 or even 100 production. It goes up to 100,000, hundreds of thousands or million scales of production units, such as, and when you are doing a large scale production, you get the minimum cost, the most minimum cost for producing that product, and you can get the maximum profit out of it. So that's how the companies, they have a huge impact on the economy of large scale production. They increase the economical trend of any countries. Third, scope for expansion. A company can easily expand its managerial capacities or financial resources, has great potential for diversification and growth. A company can easily expand its managerial capacities. How do they do it? Suppose a company is selling out shares. When they sell out shares and they get general partners for that, general partners, what do? The amount of investment that they give, they are receiving that kinds of profit, and they are owed to pay that kinds of liability or credibility. They are credited to that firm, and within that, the general partners have a right to take decisions or take part in all kinds of business or managerial activities. All the managerial activities, such as the advertisement, the financial sector, the common sector, the distribution sector, every sector is divided among all the shareholders or the members of the company equally. That's how we can get a scope for expansion. Then financial resources, we get finance from all those shareholders who are buying those shares. That's how the initial capital is increasing, then the company's the capital is increasing than the initial capital of the company given to itself. So, and has great potential for diversification and growth. Diversification is the management diversification, managerial diversification. All the works is diversified among all the members and the shareholders of the company, and that's how they can sustainably grow in an easy way. Then, stability for existence. A company, the organization of a company has a separate legal entity, gives it a character of continuity. In a company, every member has their own personality, has their own legal entity, has their own everything. They are a part of a company. They're a small owner of a company, small parts owner of that company, through which they have their own premises, they have their own decision making abilities, they have their own consent, they have their own positive thoughts, whatever they want to give that to the company. So the company has legal separate entities. The company itself is a artificial personality developed by other 100 members personality combined. That is that's named mainly a company, which is a joint stock. Stability for existence, which is it gives a character for community, characters for continuity. When those all people form together, give all their opinions, and they agree to the same kinds of commitments, the company will slowly rise to its continuity even after the duration for the company is over. Some cases it's over, and some cases they want to continue it more than their given period of time. Transferability of shares. Shares of a public company are freely transferable, but not in case of a private company. Those shares are not freely transferable. So, when a company sells shares to the members or the normal public, when they buy that, those are called general shares. There are legal documentation. Shareholders are of different type. The most common or the basic is the general shareholders. People usually take the general shareholders in most of the cases. 70% cases, there are the general shareholders. People are more likely to take part in all kinds of business and managerial activities. That's why when those people take that, but in case of general shareholders, there is a huge advantage that if that person is not willing to stay in that company anymore, he can transfer or sell his share to another person within the company or outside the company with the consent of other members, and taking a meeting with the other members by investing their capital into some other person. So that's how transferability of shares works very easily in any kinds of company. So democratic control. Number 6, the board of directors who manage the company are elected by the shareholders. It's very let's take this in an easy level, because suppose I started a company, I cannot choose who the shareholders are going to be. I cannot give out to those shareholders what are their advantages, what are the rights, what they have to do. But majority wins. Always it calls for majority, not for minority. The majority of numbers are the shareholders, not the company board directors. There are directors 5, 10 or even mostly 20 directors, not more than that. But shareholders are more than that. Shareholders may be hundreds or thousands of shareholders. Those directors are elected by those shareholders because those shareholders get their own profit and own benefit, own advantages. They think who is good for them, who is bad for them. All of them together decide, they form a board meeting and they decide who are going to be the directors who will be managing them in the far future. That is what a democratic control is. Managerial efficiency. It's not, no definition is needed for that. Managerial efficiency. Everyone is a manager in that company. Everyone is whoever is the owner, whoever is the CEO, who is having the board of directors, they are in charge of the managerial activities. Everyone among the company has their own management sector. Without management, no business, no company, nothing can run. So that's a managerial efficiency. Stimulation of savings and investment. Insurance companies, banks and other financial institutions invest their money in the shares of different joint stock company. So as we said, joint stock companies give out their share to invest or to increase the amount of capital. That's how insurance companies, a huge source of finance, banking company, banks, a huge source of finance, they also buy the shares of the joint stock company. When the insurance company buys their shares, it's 100% guarantee for any kinds of company or a business, because the insurance, they are paying for all of your disadvantages or the risk or the trouble you will be facing in the, suppose your company got destroyed, insurance is going to fill out that kinds of money for you. So when insurance company buys your shares, it's a huge financial advantage or a risk, huge financial advantage or gain in capital. And the banks, those are also financial investment for the banking sector. When they buy your share, it's a huge financial gain or growth or capital investment for any kinds of joint stock company. Then tax relief. Let's talk about tax relief. Company pays lower tax on higher income as it pays tax on flat rates. In case of income tax, let's talk about, there are some places where income tax is almost 50%. Whatever you earn, you have to get 50, you have to give out 50% of that tax. Tax is different on different kinds of variables or products. Some products are 15% tax, 16%, 30, 20, 40, 50, does not ever exceed over 50. But company pays lower tax because every company has a fixed amount of tax rate. it's a flat tax rate. It may be 15, maybe 16, 18, 20, depending on the company, but it always pays a flat rate. How much the profit you're gaining, the other taxation companies will not take a look, or they will not monitor you, they'll not peek at you. They will take the tax at a flat rate. Even if your company is going on huge profit up to 200 or 300% profit that year, they will be giving out the flat tax rate. Even if a company is going on a huge loss, they will still take the flat tax rate. So tax relief is a huge advantage for any kinds of company, especially in case of joint stock company, because they have a huge capital and huge amount of profit. They do not usually face that kinds of losses anytime. So that's why tax is a huge relief for them. Diffused risk. The business risk is divided among several members of the company. As we said, in a joint stock company, when they sell shares to the general publics, they do buy it. After buying that, they take their own responsibilities, they take their own amounts of profits, own liability, credits, or the losses for that company is on equally on everyone's shoulder according to the investment that they gave into the business as capital. Suppose if someone gave a 10 lakh taka amount of investment to the business, he will take the percentage of profit according to the 10 lakh, and he will also pay the liability, debts, and the credibility to the company within that 10 lakh takas percentage. So that's how the business risk is divided among several members of the company. Several members means generally means shareholders and the main owners of the company. Public confidence and popularity. A company is guided and controlled by strict regulations and government control. So without any kinds of legalization or governmental activities going inside your business or going within your business, you cannot operate a business smoothly within any kinds of means. Public confidence is very necessary. Because of public, in the previous class we learned about public confidence a bit. Public confidence is when a company, a company usually releases its financial statements at the end of every year to the public to see how the company is gaining financial profits, how it is growing day by day, to earn the trust and the confidence of the other general publics to buy their shares. So that is called public confidence. And within that, how they are going to present their financial statements and how they're going to represent their country, they represent their company, that gains popularity from the people. That's how public confidence and popularity gains more and more capital and interest for the company. A company is guided and controlled by strict regulation and government controls. Within those are just the public confidence part. But every company that has to be guided has to follow some governmental rules and regulations. They have to agree to those terms and regulations given by the rights in the law, because a company itself is the artificial personality regulated by the law. It is under the law. So without law, your company is almost ceased to exist. Your company will not exist without any kinds of governmental rules or regulations. Social responsibilities. Due to the existence of company form of business, society is benefited in different ways. Social responsibility. Due to existence of company form of business. They again mentioned company form of business, not sole form of business or partnership form of business. Company is a huge jump from other types of small businesses. Company has huge investment, huge capital, huge profit, huge liability, less tax, which is a flat rate of tax. It has diffused risk. Diffused risk means it just distributes its risk equally among everyone. So the society or the social people within that company, they are very much affected with this kinds of good advantageous prospects or things. So that's how, due to existence of company form of business, the society is benefited in various kinds of ways. It may be with their products or it may be with their services. The company may be an NGO or it may be a good product selling, which is good, very good for the society or its people purchasing those. That's how the social responsibility of any kinds of company basically works. So today we just learned about the topics of advantages of our company organizations. Finally, if you have any kinds of comments or questions regarding this lesson, please let us know down in the comment box below, and be with Gurukul. Thank you.